The wildfires in Greece that have been wreaking havoc, and the Greek government have said it has evacuated 19,000 people from roads over the last few days in what is the largest ever wildfire evacuation in the country's history. The popular holiday destination has been absolutely ravaged by wildfires following the extreme heatwave in recent weeks. Travel agent TUI has also cancelled all holidays to Rhodes until next weekend and will issue refunds to affected customers. Eoghan Corry is editor of Air and Travel. He joins me on the line on the line now for more. Eoghan, good morning.
Good morning, Ali.
Good to talk to you this morning, Eoghan. I suppose anyone who has anything booked in the coming weeks will be wondering what they should do. What advice would you have for them this morning?
Yeah, first of all, it's a lot more dramatic than it is. The real tragedy of this is the local residents who had to evacuate and lost their homes. It has been probably for Sky News and stations like that. English people evacuated from a couple of resorts close to the fire. It's been quite a story. But the reality is that the number of Irish people on roads be fewer than it would be about 20 years ago. We've flights to Ryanair and to flights to from Dublin. The Ryanair took off just a couple of hours ago. We've got most of our Irish holidaymakers are about an hour and a half drive away from the fire. Okay. They would be in places fellow listeners would be familiar with. There is a couple of properties. The self-catering, the Cosmos Maris, which was evacuated in the village of Lourdes, and really it's Kitara Lourdes resorts. They weren't affected by the fire, but they were evacuated as a precaution. That led to the dramatic scenes in the airport scenes we saw. Ryanair issued an advisory saying they will let people on without passports because some of them left behind. Again, it's a big English issue. It's more relevant to their Manchester and Birmingham flights than it is to Ireland. We have about 700 tourists there, and it's sort of continuing as normal. The fires themselves, looking at the webcams this morning, seem to have abated a fair bit and less of a panic. But as I say, the real tragedy is the local residents who have lost property and have had to be evacuated. The Department of Foreign Affairs, quite interesting in this, they didn't say don't go to roads, they said don't go to the affected area. That is worth diddly squat, Ali, when it comes to passenger rights, because you really need to be able to cancel your holiday and say, I get my money back. You really need the Department of Foreign Affairs say, don't travel, or there's a high risk of travelling. Now, they didn't say that. What you're left then, and this is where people who are worried about taking their holidays on roads, and as I say, it's only 4 flights a week, so it's not a huge amount for the country. They're now in a position where you're at the goodwill of the travel agent or the airline. The travel agents, if the tour operator or the travel agent has control over the flights as well as the accommodation, you're in a better position. TUI has been messaging all its clients saying, if you want to transfer your date, we're happy to do so. They've a flight going out tomorrow, bringing people home. That's TUI Ireland. There's been a lot of headlines about TUI England's policy as well, which is not quite the same thing even in Belfast. So what we've got then is a relationship with your travel agent, Michael Bow or whoever you've booked your travel agent, your holiday with. That's a completely different experience than the people who've booked directly with airlines, where the likes of a low-cost airline can be quite unforgiving when you want to change dates. They're interested in relationships. They have been doing that anyway with the heat wave. I don't want to name travel agents. I did just name Michael Poe, but in general, travel agents have been very cognizant of the pressure that families are under with small children, elderly people, and the heat wave, and very good at things like changing dates. But you've got to remember this: you have no legal absolute right to the compensation. Now, the Taoiseach made some noises yesterday about compensation and giving money back from travel companies. That probably is a conversation that will go on a little bit. And Aer Lingus unofficially, and again, there's no legal right here, but if you can keep a secret, Ali, and your listeners can all keep a secret, Corfu is where Aer Lingus fly, and they were quite good with date changes yesterday as well, because there was a fire in Corfu, well reported yesterday. All of this is a bit fluid, but back to that core thing, you don't really have, you're not going to get your money back as of right. You're dependent on the relationship and the conversation. And if you do have a medical thing, and there's asthma issues, elderly people, small children issues, it will be with the travel insurance company. And that means documentation and doctor certs and things like that. And it's a case-by-case basis.
Gosh, it sounds like a bit of a mess if you're trying to go through it. And then the worry now is that we're hearing this morning that Crete could be next in terms of where the wildfires could hit. So we could see a rush of people trying to cancel any holidays they've booked at Crete.
Yeah, you see, we've got the relationship between the headline and the actual lived experience of the tourist mightn't be as close as, it hasn't been that dramatic for the Irish, for the vast majority. And there are only 700 in roads. There's about double that in Corfu. Again, that we're talking about, we're anticipating a situation. The real the issues of, and the applies to the heat wave, it's not really the tourists that get most affected by this. It tends to be the mountain regions, it's hill fires that are causing the problem. So it's only when a resort that is seen to be in the line of the fire is evacuated that we get the enormous headlines. That is not minimise the terrible tragedy of the local population.
Absolutely.
And we're dealing with at the weekend, we're dealing with the 5th anniversary of the deadliest fire in recent history in Greece, when a lot of people died close to Athens. So It is a very, very serious issue. I do think that the holiday end of it is almost an add-on to it, and people travelling to roads for their holiday will really be an hour and a half away from the fire in the vast majority of cases, because that's where the hotels, resorts, everything are.
It's interesting. I wonder what effect this will have on holiday trends for next year, because we're being told this is being caused by climate change and we can see more of these heat waves for a lot longer periods. And I wonder, how will that affect people going on holidays next year in terms of where they choose to go?
We're not seeing any effect on bookings. We're seeing a lot of anxiety, and we're seeing people making inquiries. When they were making inquiries, it tended to go towards changes of date rather than cancellations.
Right.
Now, long term, where that would be, this is the second heat wave, and Greece is not our biggest tourism destination by margin. Spain is our biggest, and France and Portugal are second, third. Portugal was completely unaffected by the heat wave because it seems to be east of Gibraltar there was very little happening. Spain, most of that heat wave is over. It was in the inner regions, the Cordoba region was where it got hottest, the Ebro Valley, all those places that are famous from Christy Moore's song, The Quinta Brigada, and our history, Ireland's history, the Spanish Civil War. That's where it got really, really hot. The Balearics were very hot for the second heat wave in Spain. They weren't so in the first one, and that was a new development. Will that get people thinking, no, I won't book my holiday? Probably not, but they will certainly be looking at dates. And you've got to remember that while 44 degrees is a drama in Greece, it's not a drama in some of the other places Irish people go on holidays. It would not be abnormal in Dubai, for instance, where 20,000 Irish go on holidays every year. So I don't see any, change in the patterns of booking or people rethinking going away because of heat waves. They're called sun holidays for a reason, Ali.
Yeah. Oh, and we'll have to leave it there, but I suppose that the main message to take from it is anyone who has anything booked, don't panic. Just keep an eye online on what's happening.
Absolutely don't panic. And, the advice from the Department of Foreign Affairs is well founded. They are aware that Irish people are not in danger in roads. So continue to travel. You can take your holiday there. If there is a real danger of even a small risk to the holidaymaker, give that advise, do not travel. That's when you get your money back.
Owen, a pleasure to talk to you this morning. Thanks so much,
Always a great
Owen.
pleasure, Ali. Thank you.